When we were all young, it was all about fitting in. Ever since then, that's all it's ever been. Many of us have been sheep, following another one's shadow, getting thrown around whichever direction the wind takes us. A mind of our own is something a lot of us lack and still lack today. And sometimes that is the very thing that leads us all astray. Now as teenagers, a lot of us look to follow trends or do things just to please friends. But why do we do such when we have the power invested in us that can make us better? Why do we choose to be sheep when we can all be trendsetters? Good afternoon, my fellow Ridleyans, Ridley faculty and staff, my brother Dolu, my cousin Kezia, and my wonderful parents. Each of us have a power that has been invested in us since the day we came into existence, and that power is our uniqueness. But unfortunately, the imposition of society's standards on us has led us to mistaking it for weakness. The more you like yourself, the less you are like anyone else, which makes you unique. This quote comes from a man named Walt Disney. He was a man who was known as the pioneer of cartoons and animated films. He once worked for the Kansas Star in the 20th century. His editor judged him using a rubric created by the General Society. You lack imagination and have no ideas, they said to Disney. Little did they know that he had the power to be unique. Unbothered by what they said to him, he continued to strive for greatness. People laughed at him, made fun of him. They said he wasn't capable of success. But Walt realized he had something special. He knew he had what it took to be successful. He didn't let a closed-minded editor diminish his true gift of true imagination. The realization of Walt's uniqueness was the basis of his foundation. He built upon that foundation through trials, failures, and frustration. And now, even 53 years after he's left this earth, his impact is still being reflected in the animated film industry. Why am I telling you Walt's stories, you may ask? Well, this story may teach a lesson to many of us who are wearing society's mask. A mask we've been forced to wear because we were told we aren't good enough. This has led to us second-guessing ourselves, and is why the path of life has been rather rough. But I'm here to urge you to not go down that path. In the words of Ralph Waldo Emerson, don't compromise yourself. You're all you have. Walt Disney stayed true to himself and refused to stick to the status quo. That is why he is one of the most creative humans you'll ever know. Staying true to yourself is one of the biggest favors you can ever do. In the times of stagnation, it will give you an opportunity for growth. Throughout our lives, we get pressured into being what society wants us to be. We do things to seek approval, or what some of you may call clout. We often just find ourselves swimming in self-doubt. I remember when I first came to Ridley when I was 14 years old. Go around and make friends, I was told. I interpreted this as go and fit in. Go do what they're doing, pursue what they're pursuing. I didn't realize it, but I had entered an identity crisis. This wasn't the same Tomi who would listen to his heart. This wasn't the same Tomi that had been present from the start. What I didn't understand at the time was the wise words of Judy Garland. Always be a first-rate version of yourself and not a second-rate version of someone else. I went home that summer just and reflecting. That school year was not anything close to what I was expecting. It took me some time to realize that it was because I had allowed myself to get lost in a crowd. I had allowed that crowd to cloud my thinking. I was given that identity mask, and I wore it without blinking. During that period of reflection, I decided it was time to remove the mask. It was time to throw that mask in the trash, burn it and turn it into ash. I decided to stop caring what people thought. If you look at people who are considered the leaders and trendsetters in our world today and in the past, there is something that should stand out about them. They didn't become successful through conformity. They took their own route. People who are considered innovators are not innovators because they copied somebody else's idea. If Walt Disney went through life doing what everyone else was doing, his impact on everyone would be minimal. He wouldn't have inspired as many people as he did. He did not try to be the person everyone else wanted him to be. Instead, he learned to accept no one's definition of life, but to define life himself. I wrote this speech to speak to those who are in the position I was once in. You're scared about being judged by your differences. You're so scared that you choose to keep your uniqueness within. But today, I encourage you to let that uniqueness shine. Inside of you is a rare and unique gem that cannot be found anywhere else. What you have can be found nowhere but within yourself. What you have within is like a superpower that no one else has. But self-doubt and worrying about what others think is your kryptonite. It is what can diminish your power and dim your light. I went through a rough period where my light wasn't shining as bright as it should be. I didn't know what to do or how to act. But I came to the realization that I am special, just like every single one of you. I realized that I should, as Dr. Seuss said, be myself, and the people that don't mind are the people that matter. Your true friends will stick with you for who you are right to the very end. They will not try to alter who you are. They know how special and unique you are, and they would never want you to be like everyone else. Because when you're like everyone else, you can easily be mistaken. So I urge you today to be yourself, because everyone else is taken. Thank you.